crying out loud. Microphone, why?
Just to answer some questions, Goose has a... Should I say what degree you have?
No, we will talk about the questions in the order that they were supported.
Well, I'll say it's funny to watch him struggle with what he's struggling with right now, knowing what his degree is in.
What do you mean, struggle with it? There's no degree in the world.
You are mud wrestling a microphone.
Yeah, so what? We all have to mud wrestle microphones. That's how it crumbles. All right. Wow. That was a great start.
That was an excellent intro. No, that was a good intro. Keep it.
Goodness. So for those of you who are living under a rock or don't read my community posts, which I can't blame you, there's nothing of any value there whatsoever.
Except for my community post. It's
Except
the best
for Ducky's
community post,
which is apparently absurdly popular. Ducky commandeered my YouTube channel a while ago and decided to put out a Q&A post request for reasons beyond my comprehension. Why did you do that?
I did it because you're like, oh man, I don't have a lot of time to do this video. And I'm like, well, why don't you just do a Q&A video? And you're like, I don't have any questions. And I'm like, you could put out a community post and get questions within minutes. And so I did that. And now there are, how many comments were we up to?
Hang on a second. Let me pull it up. 669. Nice. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the top rated comments straight on down until we get bored or run out of decent questions to answer.
Or get to the bottom.
We may be here for a bit. I only have like 2.5 hours of backing footage though, so we can't be too long.
Only 2.5?
Yeah, I know, right? Such a travesty. There's only so many times you can watch a person build machines though, so who knows. The footage isn't great, but I figured people would want to watch something like this. This isn't the podcast channel. Anyway, are you ready, my interviewer?
I'm ready.
Do it.
What's the story behind the goose motif?
Mixture of a pet name and a joke.
Yeah, I think we can leave it at that.
That's really about it.
And actually, if I can add this, you can edit out whatever you want.
I could, but I want the candid conversation, so I'm going to try and avoid it.
It used to be that, like, when we would say goodnight to each other over text, if I didn't call him Goose, that meant I was angry with him.
Where did Goose come from? I think it was because we both agreed that pet names were stupid and cringy and that we didn't want
traditional
to use them.
Pet names. Yeah. So we chose a stupider
So we chose something stupider and cringier to lean into the bit, and then it accidentally became the bit. Ready.
This one's asking...
You should read the name.
This one's asking if you're autistic.
That's not what the question says. It takes a certain kind of person to enjoy Gregtech challenges. What sort of background do you have? You seem like one who has studied something hyper-specific. This is a question about my education, not about my hypothetical autism.
Oh, I like this reply. There's a theory that you're a professor.
Because I sound and act like their engineering professor? No, actually, I studied comp sci, which... What do you mean, I'm the one with the degree.
You studied it. You didn't start with that.
No, I started with electrical engineering.
There
and
you
then
go.
The courses were so unbelievably poorly taught that I'm like, to heck with this. We're going to the comp sci program, and they were great. So, yeah, engineering. Apparently you called me an engineer. I don't think you meant that literally.
You think like an engineer, which
I mean,
I stand by that.
You don't have to be an engineer to think like one. But anyway, moving on.
Was Noita discontinued?
No, it is not. I just, as Ducky has so eloquently put it, have no time, period, at all, forever. Mostly I've just been trying to get out stuff so that I can build enough of a backlog to do New Horizons and Noita? Is it Noita?
Yeah, how are people pronouncing this?
I'm a filthy American, so I pronounce it Noita, but I'm almost certain that's wrong.
If it's Japanese, it would be Noita, something like that, right?
But anyway, no, it's not discontinued. I just haven't had a chance to get back to it yet. I've actually played it a bit on my personal time. It's quite enjoyable, but it's tricky to get videos out for it.
And I'm going to translate this next question. Have you ever even played Stardew Valley?
No, it's not really my style.
Which one's Stardew Valley?
Stardew
again?
Valley is the one where you go around and... Oh, I'm
Pull
trying
it
to
up.
think how I can compare it.
Pull it up.
Yeah, here. It's this one. It's the one where you make a farm and do fishing and mining and stuff. It's not like a bad game, and for what it is, it's very in-depth, but it's kind of like Animal Crossing style gameplay
Yeah.
more than strategy or base simulator. Oh, yeah, literally the first comment at this is, no, it's not discontinued. He already said that he doesn't discontinue it. But anyway, whatever. How do I seem to be able to...
Wait, let me ask this
Fine,
question.
fine.
How do you seem to be able to pull mechanics out of nowhere?
Well, funny you should mention that. I have a 32-episode video series documenting exactly how I pull these mechanics out of nothing.
For those of us that haven't seen the series,
For those of us who have not seen the flagship content that is like 50% of my channel, I play Minecraft a lot and do a lot of independent research. And for the most part, it's pretty easy to extrapolate where the mechanics can come from if you have an understanding of what all the mods do and what they add. So, half experience, half research.
I'll say more to get to what I think they're asking. What specific resources, just off the top of your head, do you typically find yourself using? Because I'll see you searching some strange things.
So, back in the day, there were some reasonably well-developed fan wikis and stuff for most of the flagship mods that are occasionally useful. It only really works for the old mods that are super popular, so like there's a ton of forestry stuff out there because that was the only way that you could get bee breeding recipes for the longest time. But for the rest of it, it's a little mix of YouTube, because there are some old YouTube documentaries out there. There's a mix of just trying it and figuring it out. Like, once you've played enough of it, most of the mechanics are intuitive enough. You can kind of guess where it's going. And then for the really, really technical stuff, it's you go to the GitHub repo where the mod author published their content, and you read the source code until it tells you what you need to know.
And I'll say that's where the computer science thing...
Yeah, that's where the computer
comes in
science comes
handy.
in, because like I literally have a degree in doing exactly what they're doing. So it's pretty easy to read the code and figure out roughly what's going on.
And occasionally I'll walk in and I'll see you read the code and you're like, oh.
Just make weird noises at my... I make a lot of weird noises at my computer.
Yeah. We have thin walls and it's concerning. Because I'm usually banished to the other corner of the apartment while he's...
Yeah, Ducky does everything noisily and it interferes with recording. How many geese to charge a light bulb? More than one, apparently. Because I don't think I've ever actually powered a light bulb in nothing yet. Also, maybe if we have time, how many geese to change a light bulb? I'm a little bit confused by that question, so...
That's the only question I understand so far. You know the joke?
I am aware of the joke, but was it just a joke or was it a serious question? I'm being metagamed by my own audience here.
That particular comment
How
is
many
going to
geese
help
to cheese a light bulb, though? One.
answer
I can cheese
some
them.
future questions. Is your skull okay?
My skull is perfectly intact, thank you. It's the walls that you have to look out for.
Ooh, hi,
Oh, this one's for
Ducky.
you. Hi, Ducky. I'm glad you
Hello.
commandeered your account for the post. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, this isn't even a... Oh, there we go.
Academic
What
interests.
are my academic interests?
Let me answer some of this. Goose reads everything.
She's
Like,
not joking. It's like
literally
actually a clinical condition.
to
I
the
can't
point
stop reading.
That sometimes if he's not listening to me speak, I will write it down and I will wave the text in front of his face because his brain has to decode it. He has to know what the text says.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So he reads absolutely everything. Does it say anything else?
They're just curious to know what I'm doing.
And they like
outside
their
of my
mouse
work.
pad. We like the mouse pad too.
I like the mouse pad too. It's been a fantastic mouse pad. All right. What? This one's definitely for me. Do the read.
Actually, it's for me. Let me answer this. You read it for me.
All right. Ducky, what Gregtech tier transition do you find the hardest or longest?
Definitely, not to just steal your example there, but going from LV to MV, there was a lot of stuff with factories.
Uh-huh. So it depends on how you define hardest. None of it was what I would describe as like technically difficult in the sense like, oh, I have to do so much research and find so many ways around the problems. Like for the most part, there's only a few handfuls of issues that you have to solve in each tier. Longest in terms of sheer progression, I'm almost tempted to say it's not even transitioning to like voltage tiers. It might just be the initial startup, which is getting wood in nothing, which is a multi-episode procedure from what I remember. I don't even think I was officially in the Steam age until episode 5 or 6. Normally that's not supposed to happen. Normally your first three or four tech transitions, so Stone Age to HV, are supposed to be pretty easy, and then it kind of bogs down a little bit from there.
But Goose played the game wrong.
I played the game wrong, so there is that. Most recently, I think the higher you go, the longer it takes, just because there's more stuff to do and more things that you have to upgrade and maintain, but I've never actually finished the game, so I can't say for certain.
Before you scroll, I want to point out that YouTube has been getting really into creating these auto-generated replies that creators can choose, and the ones for Goose in the past 2 months have become quite specific. What does the Duckies and overbearing one say? What's the full text there?
It says, Duckies and overbearing, but ultimately well-meaning housemates, so my academic interests are safe, but no promises about the YouTube grind.
What?
It's real uncanny valley, isn't it? You can tell that the AI is kind of figuring out what we're talking about, but it doesn't really have the context to make informed commentary.
I wonder if it gets it from your channel descriptions, or does it just scrape the video?
If it got it from my descriptions, the thing would be utterly unhinged. It's got to scrape the video in the comment section.
Interesting.
I don't know. They're not going to want to give it too much context because then the thing's going to bog down because you have like a ridiculous n-squared operator. Because the more popular videos are going to have more stuff that you have to comb through. But no, I imagine it's just missing context.
All right. Has Goose played any more recent packs like Sky Factory 5?
No. Why are the neighbors singing? Stop singing. You're not allowed to be happy, damn it. No and yes, I've done a little bit on my off time of more recent stuff. I tinkered with all the mods before I started doing Gregtech, for instance, but I tend to stick to a small handful of mod packs because they take all my time.
What's your opinion on mine colonies?
Never heard of it.
Me neither. For non-Minecraft games, has Goose played or considered playing Opus Magnum? I can't even finish reading the question. He has to know what these things are.
I have to know what these things are.
He has to read.
Opus Magnum, a puzzle-based programming game. I'm gonna go with probably not. That does not quite seem like my grind. If I wanted to do programming, I'd go back to school.
This is the most important one. Got any grapes?
Bum.
And how well do you know the Psy mod, or is that PSI?
That's Psy.
That was popular a few years ago.
Not at all. See my previous comment on question 1. Chances are if it's not Gregtech or a Technic flagship pack, I probably have not played it more than a few hours. Yeah, great. Do our dates consist of eating soggy bread out of the local pond?
Honestly,
well,
not far off.
We don't eat it out of the pond. Usually if it hits the water, it's fair game to the fishes, but wandering around local ponds and eating bread, pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be fair, that's just a picnic.
That's just a picnic, though. Like,
how old were you when you first played Minecraft, and do you remember what patch it was?
Well, I'm not going to dox myself, but I will say that 1.2.5 came out right as I was installing the game the first time. So 10 years ago-ish?
What?
And then I don't remember when 1.2.5 came out.
I'm gonna tell you that's inaccurate.
That can't be right, though. Is it 15?
Don't ask him any questions about when things happened or just like factual information.
I mean, it's the same system running forward and backwards. Who really cares the exact time span? Alright, Java Beta 1.2.5 came out April 4th, 2012. So what is that, 13 years from now? Plus a bit? Yeah, there you go. What was the first mod or mod pack that I played? It probably Technic Classic, I think. I don't quite recall. There was definitely something weird going on with it because it had Industrial Craft 2 and Thaumcraft, and I've never found any classic version that had that, but it was something along those lines.
Next one. What do you think of the Create mod or modern modded Minecraft in general?
Say that 5 times fast.
No.
So I don't use Create all that much. I'm sure it's a fantastic mod for the people who are interested in it. It's just not something that I'm particularly interested on my own. For better or worse, the things that I focus on tend to not be the things that Create is terribly good at doing efficiently, so even mod packs that have Create in it, I tend to ignore just because there are better solutions to everything. I don't know. I did a lecture on why mechanism being overpowered was kind of a bad thing way back in the day when I was doing Big Dig stuff, I think. And a lot of the points still stand. It's that if you have mod packs with so many different things in them, inevitably something is going to be superior, and Create is almost never that thing. Modded Minecraft in general, or modern modded Minecraft? So there was a serious dip in quality when the game was being refactored around 1.12, and that kind of dropped me off modern modded Minecraft because I didn't want to wait for all the mods to update to the new Minecraft paradigms.
Sorry, it dropped you off of what?
Modern modded Minecraft?
I
Modern modded Minecraft. Thank you, Ducky. No, so there was a dip in the modding scene that kind of got me stuck behind the modding curve, and I never really picked it up after that because there was just so much stuff before that dip that I could play. I don't hate it. I don't have anything against it. I'm sure the mods are wonderful and fantastic, and I enjoyed what little bit of all the mods that I played. It's just that I haven't had a cause to go after them yet.
This next question I'm suspicious of. Something's fishy about that question.
Do I like peaches?
It could be genuine, or it could mean something else that we're not aware of.
I enjoy fruit of all varieties.
I guess you could say.
Well, is eggplant a fruit? Am I allowed to say that? I'm pretty certain eggplant's a fruit.
I was gonna say, I guess you could say you're pretty fruity.
Yeah, let's just not read it into it too
Anyway,
much.
Vex maps? Any others that you're interested in?
Maybe. I enjoyed what little bit of time that I spent on the Vex map that I just finished putting content out for. It was kind of dull by the end of it, and it feels bad to say, but a lot of the stuff was just me blitzing through anything resembling a challenge. And I feel like that if I hadn't blitzed through it, it just would have been dull and repetitive and frustrating instead of dull and repetitive and easy. So maybe I'd be interested in trying some of the newer stuff just because there's more stuff you can do in them. But we'll see. What's my opinion on Pam's Harvest Craft? It's a wonderful set piece mod that solves a problem that nobody had, which was the problem of what am I going to eat today?
I have that problem a lot.
Okay, but you also don't need like 5 NEI pages of food options. Like here, I actually have New Horizons open right now. Let's page through and see. I don't know why my Modpack search isn't working. Come on. 15 pages of bees later. 30 pages of Tinker Tools later. Alright, there we go. So let's see. We have 1, 2, like 2.5 pages.
What kinds of breads do they have?
Oh,
We like
a bunch
bread
of
as
bread.
waterfowl.
Yes. So 2.5 pages of different
Whoa.
kind of modded foods, and it doesn't matter.
Can we spend
No.
some more time on this?
No, we can't.
I want
No, you
look
can
at
look
the
at it
food
on your own
options.
time.
No, I can't, because every time I come near the computer, you electrocute me.
Yes, precisely. So it makes sense in the context of scaling health, but beyond that, food variety is low effort gameplay in my mind, because you always either have to devise an optimal setup to balance whatever nutrition needs that you need, or you need 6 different kinds of food, or you need to eat, X different varieties of food at least once to get the benefit. And then once it's done, it's done. And there's so much overlap with other hunger replenishment options in other mods that it's almost always better to never use anything from Pan's Harvest Craft than it is to actually engage with it. So, whole lot of filler, not a whole lot of substance, which is ironic for a food mod.
See, Goose doesn't understand. I love the idea of having many food options to explore, and I love the idea of my little character enjoying different types of breads.
Okay, great. Like, that's fine, Ducky, and if that's the gameplay that you want, great.
I just want to eat bread in my house in the sky.
Okay, cool, but it makes no difference. So if you can make 1,000 bread or 1,000 different food items, why would you make 1,000 different food items when you could just make 1,000 loaves of bread that have the exact same impact?
Because bread starts to get a little boring after a while.
Okay, but it's a game. It doesn't matter. Like, you're role-playing at this point. It's fine. I'm fine with Pam's being used for roleplay. It doesn't make any sense in a technical Minecraft pack unless you're doing something that specifically requires the food variety.
This is where we differ. He has the same approach to real-life food.
Yes. You find 5 or 6 different meals that satisfy all your major nutritional needs, and you just eat them until they get boring or they stop being until they stop satiating you. Like, why would you need extra variety? Why would you need to invest more effort for something that doesn't give you a substantial return? We can move on. I need to stop rambling. We are already 24 minutes in and we've answered like 8 questions.
This is riveting so far. Okay, do you follow the Minecraft YouTube scene currently?
I dip my toes in it.
It looks scary. It looks horrifying.
Yeah, that's kind of my impression. I dip my toes in it because I consider it a professional obligation to do so, but
a lot of it that I've seen looks very brain rotty.
It's a lot of brain rot. It's geared towards tweens and young teens, which is most of the audience that is watching YouTube videos on it.
I read nearly all of the comments. I skim through the ones that are more geared towards, people that actually enjoy Minecraft. But my favorite thing is when Goose has like the first video in a series that gets very popular and a bunch of new folks come in to watch.
God, yes.
And they say things like, yo, this dude talks a lot. And I just find it really funny to see that disconnect.
I had a comment on one of my RLCraft Skyblock ones that was something to the effect of, bro's just cheating, look, you can see the cheat menu and to the right, and the cheat menu of course being NEI, which it comes standard with every modded Minecraft pack ever known to humankind, basically. And I actually broke my do not bait the trolls rule for that one, because that was also the video where I explicitly explained exactly how I made the pack with things like creative mode and map editing tools, and was like, did you seriously not watch the video to the part where I explicitly said that I cheated to make the map and just focused on the inventory? Mm-hmm. You're not even engaging in the content. You watched like the first 3 minutes of the video then left a comment and bailed.
Yep.
Because you didn't know what NEI was. Anyway, yeah.
So we try to steer clear, I think,
I try and avoid it. There is, I don't know if I can say this word without YouTube getting twitchy, so we might have to censor it a little bit. But there are quite a lot of people in the ecosystem who enjoy working with kids a little bit too much, if you catch my meaning, which I want to steer clear of for various and sundry reasons. A lot of the content is extremely low effort. A lot of the content is just straight up plagiarizing things and saying they're your own, which I do not understand. Like, if you're going to put together these videos and make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of them, you could at least do some research to come up with something novel on your own.
I'll say, just to spin this into a more positive thing, what are some YouTubers in this niche that you enjoy watching?
Technical Redstone, because it's usually produced by more mature individuals who are a little bit more intelligent, to put it politely, and cater towards a more mature audience. So I've had a lot of fun with keeping up on the modern technical Redstone community and technical Minecraft community, but that's also a lot smaller of a community, and it's not what people think of when they think of the Minecraft scene.
And I'll say, go ahead and hit read more.
Where am I looking at here? Do I imagine myself doing collaborations with other Minecraft bloggers or joining servers? Yes, I consider it, but there are definitely some limitations. So, collabs are tricky because the things I do are very much not things that anyone else wants to do for obvious reasons. So, finding a collaborator that had enough free time to meaningfully collaborate with me and could work with a recording schedule so that we could get footage together, and also had the technical background and interest and screen presence, for lack of a better term, to make that work would be very difficult, because there's a lot of very small Venn diagrams that have to overlap there. And servers in general kind of raise the hairs on the back of my neck. Like, I played plenty of modded Minecraft servers before I started recording Gregtech videos, but I have not played multiplayer Minecraft since I started being a public figure, and I would definitely want to get a sock puppet account if I were to go back onto the public Minecraft scene, which violates the whole point of doing recordings. So yeah.
And I guess maybe to talk a little bit more about collaborations, the video, this is not for Minecraft, this is for RimWorld, that we did with Connor Conquers. I think things like that are cool.
Yeah, stuff like that's fine, but it's also not really like group play style stuff.
It was like he had a plan.
Yeah, Connor just needed a voice line, or Connor just had voice lines and needed a voice actor, is basically all that went into that. So, I don't know. I'm not inherently against it, but there's definitely some hurdles that I'd have to cross, and right now I'm not immediately interested in trying to cross those, and probably won't take action to cross them unless something presents itself as a good opportunity.
All right, possibility of a Terra Firma Greg series.
All things are possible, but so many things are possible that very few of them are likely. And Terra Firma Greg sits firmly in that category because it is very much a New Horizons style pack in terms of time commitment. And to be quite frank, I just enjoy doing New Horizons stuff more than learning new mod packs. So, yeah, maybe once I get my third Stargate and start wanting to branch out or something, sure, but not in the immediate term. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what microtonal music is, and would you ever listen to some?
Yes and yes. They actually did that in Undertale's OST, believe it or not. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but Bergentrucken. Troiken? I don't know. It's German, so Bergentrucken, probably, or something close to that, does play around with partial tones. I don't know. It's just music. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. I've never really perceived it as something worth pursuing.
Music sucks. All right.
Yes, says the person with a literal music degree.
Are you a sock shoe or sock shoe? Who's a sock shoe?
That's my question.
What kind of heathen?
Who carries their shoes into the bedroom with them? Those belong in the mud closet or next to the door. No, sock shoe, because...
Oh, someone already beat us to the punch.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Hasmatora has the right of it. Like, who brings their shoes into the bedroom?
All right, Goose, would you ever do a palette cleanse video or be interested in doing them again if one... What do they mean by that? Oh, they specify something
easy.
fun.
Yeah, and fun.
I mean, we have done that.
We have done that quite regularly. What did you think Big Dig and RimWorld and Blightfall were?
I do like your first RL craft you described as a nice relaxing vacation, because that was your first non
That was my first palette
Gregtech.
cleanse.
Yeah.
So I don't do palette cleanse videos exactly. I do palette cleanse series. But I don't know, you play Gregtech enough and everything else just starts turning into a lovely little vacation with sunshine and daisies.
You know what I've been really gunning for?
What have you been gunning for? Oh, no, we're not doing that. Ducky wants to play a game called Snail Simulator.
Someone asked if we would play Snail Simulator.
One person asked like 8 months ago.
They did. I'm still thinking about it every day. They even gave us like a few dollars or something. It was like a super comment.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're financially obligated to.
We're financially obligated to do jack diddly squat.
Anyway,
I just put that on because you thought it would be fun.
Actually, I think the amount they gave us is enough for us to buy Snail Simulator. It didn't look very expensive. I don't know why.
Ducky's just trying to use my platform to precipitate our home life arguments. This is manipulation.
I'm at the point where if Goose doesn't have the courage to play Snail
it's about
Simulator,
courage now. I see how
I'll
is.
create my own gosh darn channel, you know?
I mean, there's no rule that says you can't just make your own video and upload it to mine, but
I know I have access to
Ducky does
everything.
have access to my systems. You don't
I've
have
been
everything.
incredibly
you think you have
restrained.
everything.
I do want to clarify for this post. I do respect Goose's boundaries. I did ask him.
Yeah, no, she did ask. This was very much a joking that she stole my system and not a literal she stole my system.
I typed something up and then I had him read it over and he was very tired and he was like, that's fine. So I posted it. All right, favorite color of cat.
Sorry, I'm stuck reading maybe a wool texture review. They all have the same texture.
Oh, wait. Give me a second to find that.
It's right here. So I do palette cleanse stuff. It's just that it doesn't look like palette cleanse stuff because I am that thoroughly off my rocker.
Oh, maybe you could do a tier list of all the food in Pam's Harvest Craft. Or you know, one of my favorite videos.
Dried soup, S tier. Everything else, F tier, because dried soup is incredibly cheap to make.
How does Harvest Craft work? Do you actually have ingredients?
Yeah, you have to harvest the raw ingredients and recursively craft them together into something. So your hamburger, you have to get the beef, you have to fry the beef, you have to milk the cow, you have to collect salt, you have to churn it, you have to turn it into cheese. You have to harvest the wheat and then grind the wheat
how
and
food
then
is
make
made.
dough and then cook the bread and then you combine those to a cheeseburger and then grow lettuce and tomatoes and slice the tomatoes and put them on the... It's ridiculous. There's no point to any of it.
Well, I'll say one of my favorite videos, I think it was posted on Polygon, but it was Brian David Gilbert that did it. The foods from Breath of the Wild, actually creating them with the ingredients from the game and then eating those and rating them. One of my favorite videos.
Okay, that could be fun, but
we couldn't do it because we have to hide behind a screen.
Because we have to, well, yeah, basically. But also, all the stuff in Pam's Harvest Craft is just like real food, so that wouldn't really help.
Why don't we just eat some real food?
Why don't we just eat some real food and make a video about it? See, there you go. That's your
that can be my channel.
Relax video. I ate some food that was themed after Pam's Harvest Craft. All right.
Favorite color of cat?
Black.
Do geese like bananas?
I can't speak for everyone, but I sure do.
Thoughts on the number 13?
It's the number between 12 and 14.
Dyeing your hair purple or green?
Green, and then immediately shaving it, because my day job would raise some eyebrows on that one.
Oh, I think this one
Hi,
is
Ducky.
for me.
If you were to play one game on a channel co-op or otherwise, what game would you like it to be? Well, we've answered that question.
So, Snail Simulator is, I believe, an MMO RPG.
Yes, it is. Well, it's a multiplayer game.
It's an MMO RPG, isn't it?
I would strongly dispute the first M in that sentence. But yes, it is a multiplayer online role-playing game where you slowly wander around a world as a snail.
But there's some cool mechanics. Like there was
Yes,
some
you can
sort
jump.
There was a jumping mechanic.
That is the entire game. You jump and
Whoa.
slowly move forward.
Give it some more credit than that.
The game specifically described its control overlay when we looked at it. You wander around and you can jump.
With your friends.
I don't have
As a
friends, so it
snail.
would just be with you. And frankly,
Pull up Snail Simulator. Don't do Snail Simulator dirty like this.
All right, fine. Have it your way. Snail Simulator.
Ooh, we could save 40%.
It's not saving if I don't want to buy it in the first place. We can become the snail. I don't quite know how the
Wait,
audio
go to the
is.
description and zoom in so I can read it out dramatically. Have you ever wanted to be a snail? Now you can be. Explore the vast snurth with snail friends. Join monthly snail parties. MMOs. Become a snail in a simulation. What are you not sold on? It looks so good. Look at them!
Getting RuneScape vibes
Look
here.
at them. Ooh, they're stacking up. Look at that.
No.
Look, they're on a bridge. There's cherry
I
blossoms.
have better things to do with
Scenic.
my time. How is this thing overwhelmingly positive?
Because it's a good game that you're not even giving a chance. Look at them. Doesn't that look fun?
No.
Are they wearing
it looks
hats?
boring.
I think they're wearing
and
hats.
this is coming from the person who is willing to spend like multiple days farming out a sapling.
You play
in video games.
Gregtech.
I
You
play
don't get an
Gregtech,
opinion.
and this still looks boring.
On
Anyway.
a real note, though, I would love to do a Sims run.
Oh, yeah. No, Ducky wants to play The Sims, which isn't really multiplayer, but definitely co-op. We have a couple things in Minecraft. I do want to get you playing on a proper Minecraft server with your own avatar, but I fear that our interests diverge greatly.
I just want a house and a cat.
Yeah. And then would I consider doing a standard New Horizons series so I have a benchmark for how insane the Nothing series is? Yes, but the problem with New Horizons is that the game updates faster than you can actually complete it. So I up-patched like more like 15 episodes ago to 2.6.2, and we're already in 2.7, and there's like multiple tiers of content that I'm just not going to finish on my current playthrough because I'm not going to up-patch again. So we could try. I have an idea for my second Gregtech series that I'm keeping on the back foot.
What?
Yes.
Another one?
Yes.
I thought you were going to be done after this one.
I changed my mind. It wasn't so bad. You know, the donut stacking wasn't so bad. It's fine, really. Ducky's just glaring at me. It's totally not like I don't have... Hang on a second. Statistics.
Don't you still have a long ways to go in this?
Minutes played, 59.6 days in my current world.
There should be a time spent with your wife tracker in there.
Probably not that high. Sorry, Ducky.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're doing a Q&A right now instead of, I don't know, breeding bees or whatever it is.
I'm mostly done with bees, thank God.
I know.
One of those days was just spent on bee breeding. But no, consider it yes, but I fear that I shall never play the game as it's fully intended just because I can't help myself. Am I planning on playing... Okay, fine.
Are you planning on playing really old packs like Blood and Bones or Crash Landing?
Never heard of Blood and Bones. I did watch a few episodes of the Yogscast doing Crash Landing, so maybe? I don't know. I'd have to do some investigation. Again, many possibilities mean each individual possibility is very low likelihood, so I can't say for certain.
What gave you the idea to start a YouTube channel?
This was supposed to be a hobby. I was bored and I had free time and I wanted to try and put together some videos because I figured, yeah, it's kind of up my alley. And what should I do my videos on? Oh, I'll do them on Gregtech from nothing because no one else really seemed to produce content on it. And then by video 3, kind of figured out why no one was doing content on it, and it kind of snowballed from there.
And I do want to point out that Goose and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was a little bit unsure about starting YouTube.
I figured
and
it would be a bit of a commitment, yeah.
I kind of encouraged him in that direction, and I'm going to take some credit here.
Yeah,
I
you
helped
did.
him get set up with DaVinci Resolve.
Okay, now seriously, you gave me my video editing software.
I gave you a
me
microphone.
Microphone and the sound system. The only thing I really brought to the table was OBS and the technical aspects of video collection.
And I helped you get your channel set up, and I have my own little unrelated channel.
Ducky is an unrelated
No one
side
needs
gig.
to know
Yeah,
about
we
it.
don't talk about it.
But it was already monetized, and so when he first started going through that process, I feel like I was helpful at first. But I mean, now
At first.
yeah, now this has surpassed what I do. You're just way more consistent with it, and it's kind of crazy what you've done with it. But I would like to take credit for the beginnings, and
Ducky was there at the
we're
inception.
documenting that for the divorce.
You don't actually get to make claims on intellectual property, but we are in a community property state, so if we divorce, you get half regardless. That's
We're in a
just how it
community
works.
property state.
Yes.
Does that narrow it down a lot?
No, it just means that when you divorce, it's halvesies unless there's a very clear financial imbalance between the two parties. That's
I
just
didn't
how
know
it
that.
works. Legally speaking, we're the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would obviously, like, you wouldn't have a stake in the channel or anything, but any profits collected to date would be split down the middle.
I don't plan on divorcing you.
No,
FYI.
this is legal nerd talk. This is what happens when I do things like read OSHA handbooks and the California vehicle codes.
Ooh, here's a good question. What did you eat for lunch today?
I had cheese melted on homemade, like, whole wheat / white bread. I don't remember the exact flour mixture that I use. Mostly it's white, and then I throw in about 25% whole wheat, and I make my own bread with a bit of hot sauce. And well, that was kind of like a late lunch snack. My actual lunch was I had a proper egg sandwich.
It's actually rare.
Actually rare in my butt. Just because I only eat 2 meals a day doesn't mean anything. I
His
don't need the
lunch
calories.
is usually
Non-existent?
like close to birdseed, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I describe it.
Nuts, oats, bit of fruit.
Yeah.
Depends on what we have lying around.
All right, how did you and Ducky meet? Let's see if you know.
Band camp. Technically speaking, a symphony retreat, but for the interest of not doxing ourselves, I won't elaborate beyond that.
Yeah, just band camp.
Yep, we were in a symphony together. What happened to question 3? Well, presumably you removed it, silly.
So silly.
Best version or versions of Minecraft? Oh, geez. I like the 1.7 through 1.8 sequence quite a lot. I have many pleasant memories of playing stuff on that spread. Anything past 1.9 kind of takes a tick down in my book because Combat Update really trashed a lot of the cool stuff that I was really good at, which was the competitive Minecraft PvP scene. And it broke a lot of the PvP servers, and they never really recovered from that. And like, there is stuff that you can do now, but back at the time, it was kind of a death knell for a lot of the old combat veterans. So 1.7.10 is probably pretty close. I don't know. I don't mind the newer versions, but I find that there's a lot of bloat in them that doesn't really speak to me on any particular level.
Goose was not a fan of the different colors of plants.
Like, so I respect that Microsoft is in kind of a tricky position when it comes to keeping Minecraft fresh in the public's eye, but I'm just not a fan. It is no longer a game that is being specifically targeted towards my demographic, which is fine because obviously they want to follow the money and they want to capture the new up and coming teenagers that are just starting to get into video games. But yeah, I've largely aged out of the arc of where they're trying to gear the game towards. So a lot of it doesn't speak to me. I enjoy some of the technical stuff that's come out for sure. But the aesthetic and cosmetic stuff is just like, why? Did we really need 3 different colors of cow? I can do that with a texture pack. We didn't have to program that into the game. How real is Herobrine? As real as you want him to be. It isn't any more or less real than any other piece of data on the power of a computer. What's the difference between a story and a piece of game code? That's how the bits are ordered. All right, there you go. Let's have Ducky talk, because my voice is getting sore.
If you can make your own mod pack, what would your goal be, and what would you name it?
So the goal would not be, like, it wouldn't be a, here's the endpoint, collect 50 stars and you win kind of thing. The goal would very much be, here is a set of tools with interesting and unique interactions and plenty of room for innovation. Go see what you can do with them. So a lot like just regular Minecraft in that sense. Honestly, even just a super lightweight mod pack that does stuff like introduce movable tile entities and some quality of life redstone stuff for things like circuit assembly and timers and stuff would be pretty interesting to me, just because that's what I'm interested in. What would I name it? I have no idea. I don't come up with names.
Gregtech.
Gregtech. Yeah. Well, I feel like Gregtech sets some expectations, because I use Gregtech to refer to my cheese factories.
We'll workshop it. What's your guilty pleasure meal?
I don't... Well, I mean, that implies that I feel guilty for eating it, which I don't.
There should be one thing you feel guilty about eating.
Like what?
I'll let you figure it out.
Well, I don't know what it is, so clearly I'm not feeling guilty enough. Unless you're talking about candy, which I've largely steered away from in the past few months, just really? Because it's not as interesting.
Good.
I don't know. I eat pretty much whatever I want, and I don't feel bad about it, but I also recognize that my dietary decisions are relatively healthy as things go, so...
Just bland.
Just bland, yeah.
I also do want to say, a lot of people have been leaving very positive comments in these questions that we've kind of just been like skipping
we appreciate
over.
The positivity, but the goal is Q&A here, so we're focusing on the Q&A.
We're very efficient people.
Yeah. We are already 50 minutes into this. We got many questions to go through.
How do you keep your last remaining shreds of sanity?
In what world do you assume that I'm sane at all in the first place? Keeping the shards of sanity implies that I had them at all.
Do we wish to do more collaborations with each other?
Oh, yeah. Do we have any ungerminated ideas? Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have stuff that we can do. Just off the top of my head, we wanted to try one where Ducky and I flipped roles when we were doing the Ducky and Goose Play Minecraft. I don't know if we would try and beat the Ender Dragon, though. That took a little bit too long. Maybe
if
build
I
you a
have
nice
the
house.
mouse,
yeah, because you're going to be the brains of the operation.
We'd
you'll
be
have the
toast.
Mouse.
We'd be absolutely toast.
We'll be fine. No, we'll be fine.
I don't know how to do any of the crafting off the top of my head.
I can tell you. It's just that you have to be the one to execute it.
Yeah, I think that the way that we did it is the most successful way.
Oh yeah, Tigafa replies, in response to number 1, who said Goose was sane? Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first mod pack both of y'all have played? Ducky has not played modded Minecraft, and I'm very interested in getting her into it, but she has to learn how to play regular Minecraft
I hear
first.
that Britannia has flowers.
Britannia has flowers, so maybe Garden Skies or something. What? It's not called Garden Skies, but the one where it's Skyblock with Britannia would be fun.
I want to answer this next question. What degrees do you have? And I just want to say, between the two of us, I think we have, is it 5 college degrees?
Yeah.
Between the two of us, between the two of us, we have 5 college degrees. But this is just what the market wants, you know.
No, don't tell the up and coming kids here. The whole point of a degree is to have a piece of paper that says that you are capable of focusing on a task for a long period of time. Like, it did not take a substantial amount of effort or skill or talent to get any of the degrees that we got. I don't know. Okay, it takes work. It's very much a work-focused thing, but it also doesn't really apply to the professional
Well,
workspace.
I
It's
think
it's a lot of virtue signaling and not a whole lot of on-the-ground experience.
for the two of us, we both, like, if there is a task given to us, we complete that task.
Yeah.
And we, like, hyper focus on that task until it's completed. And we get very good at doing the things that we want to get very good at. And so that works great for college. Like, I think we're just kind of naturally geared towards
Both
that.
of our personalities are very well attuned to the college environment. But by that same token, degrees are such a terrible predictor of who can actually do any given job that it's not really saying a whole lot to say you have a degree. Like, yeah, you have a degree, but can you write an email coherently? And I work with literally hundreds of people with degrees far and above anything that I've gotten for myself, and they can't even write a grammatically correct email.
To be fair, once you get to a PhD, you have complete authority to just write like a 2-letter email, all lowercase, and just send that off. And then you sign it Goose PhD.
Okay, but again, if you're going to write an email, why would you not spend the millisecond of effort necessary to make it seem professional and easy to read? Like, if you're going to do something right, do it right. If you're not going to do something right, don't do it at all.
It's a power move.
Okay, but counter signaling is great and all, but it only actually matters if it doesn't impact your performance. Otherwise, you're just signaling that you don't care about your job.
Anyway, so that's the answer
we
to
got off on a tangent.
What degrees you have.
We have many assorted degrees, and most of them don't mean anything more than we paid a lot of money to get a piece of paper.
We paid a fairly cheap amount of money, as cheap as you could go.
As cheap as you can get, really. Like, yeah. I mean, the state paid for 2 of them, so that helped, but that's neither here nor there.
All right, does Goose like fan art?
I love fan art. I just don't use it in any of my stuff because of professional ethics, because if I'm going to use someone's work for a profit-making venture, I want to credit them and pay them for their work, and it doesn't make financial sense for me to do that right now, so I don't.
I'll say if I have Goose fan art, which you know I have tons of it, what do I do with it? Where can I share it? Where can I send it?
However you want. It's your work. You can do with it what you want. I've had some people send it to me, and it's cool. I've had some people reach out and is like, hey, do you want me to do fan art for your channel? Like, for gratis, whatever. And I'm like, I am happy to see your fan art, but I'm not going to use it because that violates my sense of professional ethics. So thanks, but no thanks.
I think what Goose is getting at is if we're going to have an artist, we would want to
No,
pay
if we
them.
have an artist, I will pay them a fair market rate for
We
the work that
respect
they're
artists
doing.
in this household.
Yeah.
Someone, they did ask, who drew the current channel art?
That is a free vector image from Pixabay. Let's see if I can find it, actually. Da, 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 dun, da, da. Goose. I think
Cartoon Goose?
I think it was Cartoon Goose, yeah.
I like that the first one that comes up is
It's just a fried
roast
goose. Like,
goose.
yeah, way to really narrow that in. Wow, these don't look like cartoons at all. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. It is apparently some random image from Clicker Free Vector Images. So my guess is some sort of vector image library consortium that they gave to Pixabay. So yeah, it's just a free image. And then I took it and modified it on my own a little bit because the default is kind of blah.
What does yours look like?
I've made a bunch of them. It depends. I don't really do too many of them because it takes a while. But I have the little emotes for the channel stuff that no one ever uses. Let's see if I can find them. Yeah, so I have a few. I have the neurotic version, which is the red-eyed mean lord one. I have one where I'm smacking my face. I have the sarcastic eye squinty one. And then one with the little sweat drop and the dilated eyes. Then I
Oh, that's
think Ducky
neat.
was actually a modified version of the goose one that I redrew to give her different proportions.
Evidently, I'm shorter and rounder.
No, you're actually the same rotundness. It's just that you're shorter and your beak is shorter. Oh, no, wait, no. It's not. It's a canard, apparently, because I have the original here. Yeah. Yeah, so I snipped the wings off and put on goose wings to kind of stylize you like mine and gave you goose feet.
Anyway.
Or maybe I just redid the head. I don't know. Either way, point remains, it's free stock images that I modify. I do design my own assets sometimes, but it takes a while, so I try and avoid that.
All right, scroll.
Future plans, continuing with experimental games. Noda, definitely on the list. I may or may not have a new game coming out that I'm not going to announce too much because it's still kind of in the works. And, well, it's the one that I sent the email out for today. So Ducky knows. Maybe we'll see if they get back to me on that. What else? New Horizons is in the works. I'm collecting footage for that as we speak.
That's the footage they're watching, right?
No, I'm literally letting the game run in the background while we record this. So if you hear random explosions, that's why I'm letting the game tick. And I think that's about it. Getting a New Horizons video out is such a serious undertaking at this point that I can't really plan too much beyond that.
All right, scroll. This last question's for me.
What's your favorite kind of light switch?
I'll tell you what my least favorite kind of light switch is. They've been putting these ones in new buildings where it's got like 2 buttons, not an actual switch, just 2 buttons. And it should be simple. You know, top button turns it on, bottom button turns it off. But no, most of the time when I use these, they don't respond when you touch either one of them, and they break so easily. And long story short, where I currently work, the lights have not turned off for half a year.
Yeah, like, seriously, people, just install
Just
a
give me
flippin' lever, all right?
Yeah.
The technology has been proven. We have had these things literally thousands of years since before the invention of electricity in the modern workplace. Just put in a flippin' lever that you can go up when you want it off and down when you want it on, or maybe you're weird and reverse it. It doesn't matter. Just tactile feedback, mechanical action. None of this weird touch panel nonsense.
We mean flippin' literally.
Literally, flipping a lever that you can flip up and down.
Society has advanced to the point that it's regressed.
Yeah, society has advanced. We've gone too far. Hit the backspace key. Stop trying to be clever. You're just making stupid designs.
Anyway, this next question's important. Is cereal soup?
What is soup?
I think we've had a heated discussion about this before. Is smoothie a soup?
Again, what is soup?
What is soup? What's your definition of soup?
Well, I mean,
Define
you can
soup.
only answer that question in the context of a certain definition. All right, Google, what is soup?
Google's going to be like, that's the most intelligent question anyone has asked me all day.
A liquid food prepared from meat, fish, or vegetable stock combined with various other ingredients and often containing solid pieces. So, it's not prepared from meat, fish, or vegetable stock. So, with that definition, no, neither smoothie nor cereal is soup. I mean,
we're going to need to think on
categorically.
that some more.
No, according to that definition, no, it's not. Wikipedia says it's primarily a liquid food, generally served warm or hot, that's made by combining ingredients of meat or vegetables with stock, milk, or water. So,
Or
cereal
water.
Cereal is not made by combining ingredients of meat or vegetables with stock, milk, or water. It's made by combining grain with milk or water.
We can go down this rabbit hole.
We
a
could go
long
down the
time.
rabbit hole, but I'm going to intuitively say no if the requirement is that it has to contain meat products. Do you have plans for revisiting old challenge packs like I did with Blightfall? Oh, absolutely, but many possibilities, low likelihood. Who did the artwork for your channel character? Some
We
random
already
stranger,
answered that.
and then me? Fine, we'll skip the ones I've already answered.
There you go.
How do I... You're supposed to
By
be
the
reading
way,
these... Yeah.
I just want to say I read all the comments. I see this particular person's comments all the time.
Oh,
I think I've read all your comments. Anyway, how do you keep motivated to grind and do stupidly boring stuff in Minecraft without feeling the need to spend time with your wife for once in a blue
That's
moon?
not what that says.
What?
How do you keep motivated to grind and do stupidly boring stuff in Minecraft without getting tired? Well, when the alternative is spending time with your wife, you'd be amazed at the determination that you come up with. Ducky just kicks me. I don't know. I mean, money's great. I enjoy it for the most part. That's why I started doing the channel. This was never supposed to turn into a money-making venture, but...
Goose is a fixer. He likes for things
I like
to
fixing
work.
Things.
And he will focus on it and be very content doing that until it does the thing he needs it to do.
In other words, hyperfixation is a thing that I have in vast quantities, and I think that will answer your question right there.
Do you like the old school magic mods?
Yes.
I hear, what is that, Thaumcraft?
Thaumcraft.
I hear it's
Blood
controversial.
Magic and witchery. Thaumcraft is not controversial, it's just that there's a bunch of different versions. Something blew up. I think that was a hallucination. Yeah, alright. I mean, I'm a fan of Thaumcraft. Well, it's just hallucination. Yeah, because my armor warps me, so I have random explosion sound effects. I like Thaumcraft. Blood Magic never quite got as into, just because it was a little bit trickier to pick up off the bat. Not a major fan of witchery, but that's mostly because I don't like the mechanics that it introduces for all the useful stuff, and all the stuff that isn't useful is really useless. So I just never got into it too much. But Thaumcraft, I think it's a sweet spot.
You heard it here first, folks. The stuff that isn't useful is useless.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Thaumcraft has a lot of diversity, and it's basically a technical pack, even though people don't think of it as such.
What's the most fun part of the channel?
I mean, I like playing video games. That's pretty cool. I like pretending to be, a successful micro celebrity or whatever, and engaging in conversations with my peers. I don't know. It's novelty.
I think the community part is cool. Like when you first started getting comments, you were like, "Oh, people actually understand
people want to
what I'm
talk to
doing.
me. This is so strange and unusual."
Yeah.
No, it's the novelty and the different experiences.
I really like the comments from people that say that they don't understand what's going on, but they're still watching episode 30, whatever. And, I'm sure that you love having them on board.
Yep. No, it's fine. Welcome to the party. I don't know what I'm doing either, but, I can play Minecraft real good, so that works for me.
Okay, we're getting into some good questions here.
Yeah, all right.
We'll do this one first. RLCraft Dragora. Is that how you say it?
Yep. Why haven't I played it? Because there's a bajillion things that I want to play, and I don't have enough hours in the day.
Do you like it, though?
I've never played it per se, but I read the premise, or the presses.
All right, here we go.
No. I have to.
Gosh.
How do you pronounce this word? The précis. Okay. Yeah, I read the précis. I understand what it's about. I think it's cool, but again, kind of hard to do Dragora in the sky when you can't look at all the cool terrain. So we didn't do it for the last one.
All right, here's the question that everyone's asking, but people are too scared to upvote. Are you autistic?
That's not what the question asks. The question actually asks, do you have any diagnosed mental conditions? Way to bias the results there. No, I do not.
Nothing diagnosed, but here's my thing. As someone that has been with Goose for many, many years, I think it's hard to walk away from a conversation with Goose and be like, that was a really neurotypical interaction that I just had.
No, I false flag the living daylights out of anyone with a psychology degree, to the point where it's deeply hilarious on a personal level. Honestly, even all the way back in middle school, they were getting really weirded out by me. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily qualify it as in particular. Don't you snort at me.
No, I like how you were just going to leave it at that.
I was not going to leave it at that. The counselor was a wonderful lady who had absolutely no idea what was going through my head and made some really stupid assumptions. So I just sat back and nodded and smiled and then laughed at her. No, Short answer, no. I'm definitely not what you would describe as a perfectly normal person, but I don't have anything that anyone's really tried to stick a label on.
You can no longer smell through your nose, so what do you choose to smell with instead? Your vinegars or your toes?
I think that's supposed to be fingers. Fingers
No.
or toes. I already can't really smell through my nose, so nothing? You don't need a sense of smell to get through life nowadays.
Yet he still complains about smells. That one I don't understand.
Well, the really, really bad ones I can still smell.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, is neither an option?
Do you like Minecraft combat?
Oh, goodness. We're gonna be here for a while.
Do you... wait.
I'm sorry for everyone who comes after this. This might just straight up take the rest of the...
Sorry, I didn't read the full question. Do you like Minecraft combat? Please answer in 30 characters or less.
It's complicated. So the actual question reads, how do you like Minecraft combat? Do you like it when it gets more rock, paper, scissors, or more tiered with a weapon that kills everything below what made the weapon? Also, do you like the more fast-paced or slow-paced combat? So PvP and PvE are two entirely separate categories. So we'll start with PvE. I don't really care because I've yet to encounter a PvE system that presented a substantial enough difficulty curve to really make me change my approach to it beyond get swole and beat the daylights out of everything that tries to attack me. RL Craft is probably the closest that it's ever been to a point where I'm like, oh wow, I actually have to, play the game. But Minecraft combat by its nature is so limited by the environment that it works with that you're never going to get PvE combat that's complicated enough and at a high level enough for me to really go, yeah, I'm going to play that mod pack specifically for the combat mechanics. PvP, on the other hand, I have opinions about, honestly, just PvP in general. You should always put everyone on an equal footing. And that is a very tricky thing to do in reality. So just to take the traditional Minecraft environment at its face value, in an ideal world, you would have equipment and gear and game design and penalties and stuff balanced so that everyone, no matter how good or how bad they are, is roughly comparable. That is not how it works in reality, and at least in the pre-1.9 combat scene, the skill differential and hardware differential between people who have good gear and know what they're doing and good computers and people who are playing on their mom's PC for the first time is so unbelievably... Oh, you're just picking. I thought you were doing a bit of like, oh, Goose is talking. Oh.
No, I'm listening intently.
Yeah, very intently. No, the skill differential in Minecraft when I was fully active was so unbelievably high that it was not uncommon for me to pick fights 6-on-1 and still win, just because people didn't know how combat worked. And that is not a healthy state of the game, but what they did to combat post 1.9 has effectively killed any vanilla combat experience that I can think of, because they took it from what was fundamentally a two-pronged question of how good is your gear and how skilled at the game are you, and turned it into a one-pronged question, which is, can you out-regenerate the other person, which is monumentally stupid. I will decline. Honestly, I could do a video on combat mechanics. You want an easy, throwaway video that's mostly just me lecturing on stuff? That would be a very good video to get into.
It'd be interesting because I don't know anything about Minecraft really, but what I have gathered is 1.9, a lot of stuff happened because people were asking why you rebound sprint to the F key, and that's part of this, isn't it?
Competitive
there's some
Minecraft
interesting
combat,
history.
because there is a very specific technique that you can do that exploits the latency between two clients, and if you can control the knockback that you're applying to an enemy player, you can combo them so effectively that they can never hit you, period. You can just punch to death someone in the best gear in the game if you're really, really good at it. And I liked that because it rewarded extremely neurotic, high-skill gameplay from yours truly. but now it's much more even. Gear is less immediately important. Skill is less immediately important. And fights are so drawn out and obnoxious that most people just don't bother anymore.
Now, I'd like to share with you some of the auto-generated replies.
Oh, yes, the auto-generated replies.
Combat's always a balancing act, and frankly, this one's like playing whack-a-mole with a blindfold.
Not an unapt description for most of what I do, especially in RL craft. I suppose I should answer the actual question is, do you like it more with rock, paper, scissors or more tiered? Rock, paper, scissors, because that is the logical conclusion of everyone has everything identically. Is now how do we introduce variety? We have different classes that are more skilled in some areas and less skilled in others, and that allows people to focus on their individual strengths.
It's like trying to explain to a cat the finer points of quantum mechanics, but I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Sure.
Great.
Do I want to open this can? Yeah, I want to open this can of worms.
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm not hungry.
Right now. Yeah. So I play in my off time now a game called PlanetSide 2, which is completely different from everything that, as Ducky just starts yawning, completely different than everything else that I do on the channel, and may or may not make an appearance, we'll see. But its premise is that there are a small selection of classes, and that everyone is, barring some cosmetic differences, largely geared equivalently. And that's it. And it results in super engaging fights and good mechanics and good gunplay. But
Gunplay?
Yeah.
That's
It's a
the word?
first-person shooter. Yes, gunplay. The act of fighting people with guns in a video game.
I've never heard this term before.
It's like swordplay, but not. But anyway, but that also comes with...
Swordplay is also pretty funny.
Yeah. Thank you, Ducky. That also comes with some downsides, which is that if you're really good at the game, and I am reasonably competent at the game, you absolutely steamroll everyone else, and there's not really much that other people can do without having some friends to help them out. So there's 6s and 7s to both of those approaches. I get not wanting to dox yourself, but think of the cloud, possibly clout. Think of the fans. Wouldn't it be fun to make a goose hunt? If I wanted to make a goose hunt, I'd just stand up a multiplayer server and then set up a whitelist and limit it to like the first 30 people that joined or something. Problem is that most vanilla Minecraft situations are so easily hacked with all the tech that they're evolving now for base location that it wouldn't be particularly interesting. There you go, Ducky. This is a question for you.
Thank you. What do you think of trains?
And what's the other half?
Answer the first part of the question first.
I think trains are fun. I like trains. They're pretty useless in Minecraft, but they're fun.
If so, what is your opinion on the double-decker Alglora geomaterial BVK stir stand Ritjuig?
Double-decker Aglomer geomaterial Stir stand Ritjuig?
What's your opinion on it?
So, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking German. Don't judge me. I had like one high school class of German. Double decker is obvious.
Like a real
Aglora geomaterial. Probably maglev, maybe? I don't know. Geomaterial speaks to me as magnet. Sturstand. Yeah, you know what? Google Translate. Google. Oh, Google. Let's see. That's Dutch, apparently, according to my translate. The double-decker... Oh, wow, that didn't translate well. It was a material series of the Dutch railways. Name comes from an unimportant name for a local train.
We're spending too much time on this. Characteristics and characteristics.
It's a train, okay? It's a very poorly translated train.
Right,
I think trains are great, and I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Actually, Goose doesn't like trains. I don't know what he's talking about. Number 1. What would you do if you found a dead body in your hotel room?
We don't live in a hotel, so ask myself why I'm in a hotel room, for one.
Sometimes we go to hotels.
Okay, cool. Sometimes we
If
go
we
to
are
hotels.
traveling.
Like, are we just walking into the room and finding a dead body?
Yeah.
Like, why is room maintenance
I'd
not
ask for a
cleaning that out?
refund.
I mean, I might politely inform the wait staff that they have a dead person in the hotel room and maybe that they should fire the person who they have cleaning the rooms beforehand, because that seems like a major oversight. But I don't know, close the door, alert them that they have a local resident population problem and call the police?
Number two,
what do you do when you normally find dead bodies?
Can you do a backflip?
I can do one.
Really?
Yeah. Not going to do it because I'm probably never going to do another one again.
Oh, I see what you're saying there.
You can do everything once.
All right, in a town where everyone must be clean shaven, there is a barber who shaves all who do not shave themselves. Who shaves the barber?
Well, that's a recursive problem. It's a recursive problem. There is no cogent answer.
Wait.
There's a
the
barber.
barber shaves all who do not shave themselves.
Who don't shave themselves. I shave everyone who doesn't shave themselves.
Oh.
So if I shave myself, then I don't shave myself.
The barber
if I
has
don't shave
alopecia.
myself, then I shave myself. Yeah.
I answered it.
Schrodinger's facial hair right there. Obviously the barber is bald. Yeah, there you go.
I can answer this one. If you didn't make any Minecraft videos, would you still be playing those mod packs in the same masochistic fashion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think I know so much about playing Gregtech New Horizons with nothing? It's because I've been doing skyblock runs.
I think the videos are just kind of encouragement to continue it.
Yep.
All right, what's your favorite thing about your videos?
I get to play video games and get paid for it.
How has that changed since your first?
I get paid for it now?
Yeah.
No, really, that's about it. I play the game because I want to play the game. The videos aren't kind of bread and butter on top of it.
Where'd you get your sense of humor?
Anyone and everyone, and a healthy dosing of really interesting neural architecture.
I'll say...
I don't know. I crib off of anything and everything that I think is funny. So it's hard to pin down any single source.
I think the original source has had a very big influence on your sense of humor.
Which is...
Your parents.
Yes and no. Like, they introduced me to a lot of my material.
And you guys have a very similar pattern of speech.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's
and
genetic.
It's quite distinct.
Yeah, so there you go.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite series or standalone video that you've made?
Favorite to make or favorite to have in my portfolio?
I'll say a product you're most proud of. Like finish.
I really enjoyed 500 Colonist RimWorld.
That was cool.
It was a brute to put together. The whole thing was just miserable because I was getting 1 or 2 FPS the entire time I was recording. I actually had to speed up the footage just to make it watchable. It was a miserable video to put together, but the end result was so funny that I can't help but appreciate it on a certain level.
What's the worst mod pack you've ever played, and why did you not like it?
I was experimenting with some kitchen sink mod packs after Big Dig, or the last Big Dig server finally shut down. And I don't even remember them, but there were some really terrible ones that just crashed every 5 minutes or lagged so bad that you couldn't do anything. People seem to forget that for every good mod pack there is out there, there's 10 just truly terrible, unoptimized garbage fires roaming around.
This one says, have you considered having fun?
No, it says, have you considered doing less challenging maps or mod packs to do more fun ones where you break the living daylights out of them? Again, Big Dig, Blightfall, the Vex Super Hostile map.
What's next on the docket?
I do not like Project E. I think it's not lazy game design, but it promotes a lazy way of playing the game. So I quite religiously stay away from it. But, maybe. milk after cereal, same way that you don't pour the base into the acid.
Ooh, this one's interesting. Have you ever considered hiring an editor?
Considered, yes.
Another thing I
However,
really enjoy.
there are two things that are going to kind of stick in my craw with that one. The first is that I'm a hyper control freak. Even though my video editing style is very simple, I'm a control freak, and I would be a little bit leery of relinquishing that control to someone else. And the second one is that it's just not financially feasible. Like,
No, not yet.
not really. I don't have numbers per se for any individual video, but say that a decent video editor charges $50 an hour, that's $150 a video. And even then, if they're just putting together the video and stitching the clips together, that isn't really very much time. So 35 hours of footage recording, an hour of voiceover, and then 2 or 3 hours of stitching the video together and then letting it sit on my computer for a bit while it exports. It's just, I don't spend very much time editing. So I'd have to be either making serious bank to the point where it just wasn't worth not doing that, or trying to output content as fast as possible for that to make sense.
I do enjoy you occasionally get emails that say your current editor is not cutting it.
Ducky Goose video. I'm going to have to see if I can stitch some of those in here. But I have gotten quite a few well-intentioned but not terribly well-worded offers from people saying, like, your current editor is basically kind of bad. I can do so much better with the power of AI and my absolutely massive dongage or whatever. And I kind of have to sit back and laugh and go, yeah, I don't really think the best way of advertising your skills is to insult the person who you are trying to get business from. But okay, sure, you do you, buddy.
Well, and I'll say some of them are just genuinely editors.
Yeah, I have gotten genuine editors reaching out, and I'm like, I appreciate the offer, but I cannot pay you what you are worth.
But some of them are just like, I'll somehow use AI to edit your videos, and my service is so worthwhile. Like, I just don't understand it.
Why would you use AI to do anything? Like, okay, if I had a magical AI edits my video button exactly the way that I would edit the video with no flaws whatsoever, yeah, I'd make the AI do it, because I don't do this because I enjoy editing videos. But what gets me is the ones that are like, rule to make AI generate your content for you. And my response to that is both, one, no you won't, because this is original research content. AI cannot do what I do. And number two, what is the point of having AI do all the things that I enjoy? Like, if the AI makes the video, what am I doing? I'm uploading the video and correcting its boo-boos? And then doing what exactly? I guess I have all this free time. I may as well play Minecraft. Oh, wait.
Within our lifetime, probably within the next 5 years, or if it's probably already happening now, we'll just get to a point where the bots are creating the videos and the bots are watching and commenting on the videos, and it's all just bots, and no longer are humans actually enjoying any of the content that's being put out there, sincerely.
Welcome to Twitter.
Yeah.
No, seriously, welcome to Twitter. They did a cross-platform summary, and I think the estimate they came up with is roughly 1 in 3 people on Twitter are bots.
I think Facebook's pretty bad
and
right
they're
now,
creating bot conversations, and that's about it. It's just a bot economy at this point.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that isn't the case across the board. I'm sure there's greater or lesser concentrations in various parts, but what's the point of engaging in an ecosystem that's all AI generated? I came here to do things and communicate with humans. Mm-hmm. I can program up a bot and talk to it all I want if I want to do that. Anyway, we really went on a tangent there. Have you ever made a mod yourself? No. I could probably figure out how to do it, especially now that there's so much more documented stuff. If I were to go that route, I would probably design it as a server plugin or something similar, just because it's a lot easier to do turnarounds and testing that way. And I have most of my interests align in the multiplayer scene. But no, it's just something that I've never gotten into.
All right. just clearing throats. Outside of Minecraft or games, what's your current hobbies or hyperfixations? Interesting question.
Well, technically speaking, my day job's a hobby, which is not what people
Doesn't
normally... Okay, but also counterpoint. Why am I working there? Because I want to work there.
No, you like having stable income.
Yes, I do like having
And your
stable
squirrel
income,
brain
and my squirrel brain
can't
needs
cope
to
with
work.
not having stable income.
Okay, but also, why am I working there instead of somewhere else where I could have more stable income?
'Cause you got a job there first.
Sure, but I could find a
And-
job elsewhere.
I think the job market's still kind of dicey for computer science folks, isn't it?
Yes and no. I'd probably go more IT, but yeah, thereabouts. Anyway, point remains, technically my day job, because at this point I don't really need to be working aside from YouTube, but I don't really have a life, so if it's not that, then I read.
Folks, I tried to take him to the gym, and I've got him going for a bit, but he always felt like it was distracting from time that he could have spent doing this. I take him on walks. I feed him and water him.
Okay, no, quit with the sob story. I legitimately have time commitments to fulfill, and blowing multiple hours a day going to the gym prevents me from doing that.
I will say he does read. He reads all the time. He never tells me what he's reading.
Nope. That's none of your beeswax, girl.
Which I don't understand.
It's mine. It's not yours. Get your own books.
I know, but anyway.
But no,
We're not
every once in a blue moon we go hiking or walking or rock hounding or something.
Oh yeah, I guess we can count the rocks. We did that recently.
Yep. Is there a game that you could almost effortlessly break that would take less time, similar to
Skyrim.
good series? I'm not playing
Skyrim
Skyrim.
breaks when you play it correctly.
Okay, I could break Skyrim. I just don't have any interest in playing
How
it.
to break Skyrim. Turn on your console.
Consider doing newer packs? Yep, but again, a lot of good possibilities, very low likelihood of any individual one being picked. What's a game that you enjoy that you don't want to share with YouTube? PlanetSide. PlanetSide 2, technically, if you're being accurate. I enjoy the game, but it is very different from the rest of my content. So,
Are you gonna play Factorio? I don't see the
No.
question here, but people ask.
people
it all the
will
time.
ask, am I going to play Factoria? Maybe. I might give it a try.
I feel
I'm
like-
really not a fan of it in principle.
I feel like you just need to do a one-off why I hate Factorio video. Just 30 minutes of rage. I'd watch that, actually.
That requires me to play 30 hours of Factorio, though.
30 hours?
Thereabouts. It's about an hour a minute for footage.
Oh, this next one.
Oh, yeah, this one's...
Where can we find
tricky.
more of Ducky's music? I got a lot of stuff going on in terms of it being like Ducky branded. I had a Bandcamp that I linked in the RL Craft final video. And if I ever do more specific video game music, we'll link it to that Bandcamp.
Yeah, so the problem is Ducky does do music composition.
I
It's
do
just
music
all tied
pretty-
to her real life profile,
pretty
and we don't want to
professionally.
dox ourselves, so it's tricky because you can't cross over. I don't know. I'm probably going to hit her up for an end of series montage for Big Dig, or I'm sorry, New Horizons.
That one will be like some sort of epic fan.
That better be
something.
just chef's kiss, because I have put
I'll
way
have
too
to
much time into
properly
that
compose
series.
that.
Yeah.
This next thing, I guess their friends are dealing with mobs that can now dig through walls, and all their prior defenses are useless. Do you have any advice on that?
Don't build with walls? I mean, without having better context, it's hard to say, but break the bedrock, drop them into the void, build in the sky where they can't path to you, build 128 blocks or more away from any valid spawn location and they can't spawn in the first place. If they spawn in the sky, build in a 128 block wide cube that they can't spawn in the blocks in. Build self-repairing walls, build anti-mob defenses, put in nether portals and stuff so that they're trapped and sent to a different dimension. There's a lot of ways to get around it, but it really depends on your specific situation.
What is your Minecraft skin?
I made it myself. I think it's Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon right now, but I make all my own skins.
What do you think it is that brings you to the survival craft / automation side of games?
Game scope. Much like my reading, I require an extremely large amount of bandwidth and possibility to keep games interesting to me for a long period of time. So 2D platformers and story games are completely out. I tend to shy away from PvP-based games because most of them are fundamentally very boring once you get over the PvP aspects of them. PlanetSide 2 being an exception because you don't go through the classic Rust lifestyle of grind up a bunch of stuff and then lose it all. So that mostly just leaves open-ended sandbox-style stuff, and it just so happens that survival games and sandbox games tend to go well together.
As a fellow enjoyer of games with complexity curves resembling the front side of Everest, who also has a Ducky in their life, what sorts of games or other hobbies would you recommend for being able to share the experience without leaving them with a PTSD response to the word progression? Perhaps I should answer this, actually.
Yeah, my response would be don't, because, yeah, unless you get someone who is super into something, you're going to have a real hard time onboarding them with it.
And I'll say, you want a game that has something for everyone. For example, there was a game that Goose and I used to play, like when we first met online. Should I share the name of it?
No, it's a small enough community that it'll dox us.
Yeah, it's I can say it's
micro
similar
MMO
to,
basically. Very much RuneScape-y, very
similar to like Wizards 101, I want to say. Like that sort of vibe. And how I played the game and what I enjoyed about it is I liked exploring and I liked leveling up and I liked getting new gear and new weapons and I liked progressing in that very typical way. I actually enjoyed doing all the side quests, like getting villagers their blue cranberries or whatever. And when I first played with Goose, I realized he liked doing dungeons and then doing dungeons again and then doing the same dungeon again. And I'm like, why are we doing the same dungeon so many times? And he says, we're grinding. And I'm like, that's not appropriate. And that's what he enjoyed in the game, is he enjoys breaking the games.
Dungeon crawling. Yeah.
So I would play the game by myself and I would have fun with it and I would like invite him on the silly little things that I was having trouble with. And that's, I think, what we were able to bond over. But then when he was like, I want to go do this dungeon 40 times, that was maybe not something I was as interested in. So find something where they can participate and do the things that they want to do. Because if that kind of
head
progression
against an Everest level difficulty curve is very much an acquired taste that most people don't acquire.
Yeah. I just want to help that villager find his blue cranberries so his wife doesn't go out of town for a little while. And if you get that reference,
there
awesome.
You go.
Okay.
Will I try and help Ducky through a complicated Gregtech level mod pack, even if it's just for one silly video?
Can I do the one where I'm just dying over and over?
Nothing? Or is this RL Craft?
Nothing.
Yeah, you gotta be specific, and I hate that I have to say that. Which mod pack do you mean? The one where you just die over and over? Maybe for one, maybe. I do not think Ducky would enjoy it, and if Ducky isn't enjoying it, she is not letting me enjoy it. But
I make
maybe
my opinions known.
One RL Craft video. But
RL Craft looked cool.
Yeah, the thing you have to remember is Ducky has not played enough vanilla Minecraft to understand the core mechanics going into it, so she will not approach RL Craft from the perspective of a Minecrafter. So, yeah, we have to boil the frog a little bit before you can stick it in Mountain Doom.
And I'm gonna say that this is the final question, okay?
Okay.
Thoughts on Vintage Story. People ask about it all the time.
It's on the list, people. I know people
never
are
played
asking
it.
about it. It's actually on the short list of games that I want to play. I've never played it. It is on the short list of games to pursue. It looked cool. I've done next to zero research because I'm putting out other stuff. So it will come at some point. I don't know when.
Thank goodness we have these AIs to play the games for us.
Yeah, right. I'll
and
just make
the
an AI to
videos.
play the game and do the video for me. There
And
you
no
go.
one will be able
And
to
no
tell
one
the
will
difference.
be able to tell the difference.
All right.
Wait, okay. Favorite random piece of code you found while looking into how mods work? Well, there was one for infused seeds in Gregtech that accidentally made them able to drop extractable quantities of every resource in the game. That's been patched, but for a good while, it was real fun. Am I planning on bringing back either 7 Days or Noeda? Noeda, absolutely. 7 Days is a little bit tricky, not because I don't enjoy the game or because I don't think it's a good fit, but because of stripper zombies, believe it or not.
I feel like YouTube mildly suppressed that video.
It would not surprise me. It's a different it's a different style, it's a different genre. It didn't perform well, but that hasn't stopped me with RimWorld either.
It is a little gory.
A little bit. So it's definitely a little bit more of an air quotes mature game, which, considering my audience, probably isn't really a problem. Maybe. But again, the real issue is stripper zombies, because there are certain assets in that game that are not what I would consider particularly appropriate to show on a channel that is largely above board when it comes to humor. And I cannot be bothered to comb through every second of footage and put moving sensor bars on the stripper zombies. It's just too much work.
Don't understand why they need to include that in the game.
I don't know.
If I can offer a female perspective here, I don't understand why so many games feel the need to include these certain visual features that are not at all related to the gameplay. If you get what I'm saying.
Just like a perfectly normal story game with anime style windows to, Bon Honga Hoogs. I'm like, can we not?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have anything against it on a moral level, but I am a married man, and it would be nice if I could put content out there without having to worry about wardrobe malfunctions on my zombies.
Oh, this is another tangent we're going to go down. Goose...
the love-hate relationship with
ads.
So full disclosure, I use an ad blocker and have done for the past 10 years of my life. When I started doing YouTube, I actually specifically turned it off because it seemed inappropriate to me to be, watching YouTube and benefiting from the service without also engaging in the ad environment, because I don't judge people who do it, but there is a very valid moral case that you are kind of subverting the profit model of the industry. So I was like, fine, yeah, I'm going to turn ads off. And I had to turn the ad blocker back on again. Because the only ad that I ever got... Go on.
I would just walk into the room and he'd be looking at the screen, and a solid quarter of the screen would just be...
cleavage.
Profane.
Yeah, it's absurd.
They're not subtle anymore. I feel like they used to be kind of subtle, but...
YouTube ads used to be perfectly clean. And it'd be fine if I was getting car ads or video game ads or the usual junk that they send to
be fair, these
people
are
in my age
technically
and
video
demographics.
games, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
some of them.
Some of them were dating apps. But I was doing this right after the big AI boom had happened. So everyone and their pet monkey was trying to use AI image generation to make a quick buck. And the only ad I ever got served was for insert random homongolo bungalow woman in your area wishes to engage with your You Deserve an Anime video game. And it was absurd. And I was like, can I block this? Can I change my demographic information so I'm not being shared this? Can I report these ads? Well, they aren't technically indecent. By technical measures, they were wearing clothes. But if 50% of your screen is cleavage, that's not really an ad that I'm interested in seeing above and beyond my disinterest in watching ads, so I had to turn them back on. It's like, stop force-feeding me large busted anime women in scanty clothes.
I've also personally gotten some ads. I can't even actually describe what they are like, because I have no idea how these ads are passing any kind of checks. They are not at all subtle, and they're super scammy, and
It's not
just
even,
inappropriate.
It's not even like they're tasteful. It's just anime women with chests out to here, and you can't see it, but I'm gesturing across the desk to Ducky. Like, there is no class. There is no redeeming social value. There is no, I read it for the articles. The entire focus of whatever nonsense they're trying to sell me is, oh, look, geological cleavage.
Anyway,
Oh, boy.
Goose
Anyway.
and I are mildly prudes, but also
Mildly prudes my butt. I don't care. I just want it to be tasteful.
yeah, it's just I don't understand those
Like,
ads.
one or two is fine, but when it's every time you open up a YouTube video ever, it's just, oh, look, AI women, and oh, look, AI women in video games, anime style. It's just like, can you show me literally anything else, please?
Anyway, so that was our answer to favorite random piece of code you found.
Yes. Wow, we went on a tangent. All right. Oh, no, that was the 7 days video. So, no. 7 days, I like the premise, but I would definitely want to find a mod or something that retextures the zombies, because as it stands, they're not terribly appropriate. Public Minecraft server for your followers to join. First comment by Amina Arclight. He's already answered on a public Minecraft server. It's something he'd like to do, but won't be happening anytime soon. It just takes too much time and work. Hit it right on the head there. It might be like a closed server with vetting and a whitelist, maybe, but by that same token, then I have to vet people. So about the only way I could see that working is if it was a gray-listed server that I individually had applications for and vetting in. Once you stand up the server, most modern Minecraft servers maintain themselves past a certain point. The real issue is the behavioral problems that come with giving dingbats with throwaway Minecraft accounts access to a YouTuber's private server. So, no, that's actually a decent idea. Maybe a gray list one at some point when I have time.
When you have time,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen, folks.
I am eventually planning on dropping the day job. It's just that if I leave, everything's going to crash and burn.
All right, we're going
Whatever.
to keep this recording under 2 hours.
No, please, keep going.
Question for Ducky. Do you have some hobbies that you share with Goose?
Rock hounding, cooking,
rock hounding,
occasionally.
cooking. Goose occasionally plays an instrument and we can do duets.
Yep.
But not very
Not
much.
as such. Because you technically cannot beat the nothing series, what will you consider as a win condition? My butt, you technically can't beat the nothing series. It's entirely possible. I routed that sucker. You can do it. It just takes forever.
Oh, this next one. Streaming.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
Solid
deal?
maybe on that. As always, time. I have given some thought to doing something like that during the summer, because Goose is going to, or Dookie is going to be abroad. There you go. That's the pet nickname for you when you're being a butthead. So I'll call you Dookie instead of Ducky. No, Ducky's going to be abroad here for quite a few weeks during the summer, so I'm going to have a whole lot of time with nothing to do. So I gave some thought to doing streaming. I actually have a specific idea for RLcraft that I'm saving for streaming because I think it will be good, but the thing you have to keep in mind is that streaming content is going to be very different from video content, because there is not a snowball's chance of me being able to keep up the same pace as I do in my videos.
It's something you have to practice. Like,
It's
it takes
a skill. It is a learned skill. Being able to pull up a screen and just start spouting things for 6 hours at a time while you're playing a game is a lot of mental energy and resources. I respect the heck out of people who stream live. That is a lot of work.
Favorite rock to eat.
Salt.
We try to get at least, I believe, 7 a day for optimum health.
Yep.
Yep, 7 rocks.
7 rocks. YouTube would like to chime in and say, it's a toss-up between the regular and the red one, but that's mostly just because I can't help but try to make the game do things it doesn't want me to do.
Interesting. What's the other option?
I'm glad you like the videos, and you're right, it does take quite a bit of effort to make them. It's not always easy, but it's worth it when people enjoy them.
Just ignoring the rock thing entirely.
Ignoring the rock part entirely.
Oh, how long ago did we get married?
We're going on a year now, but we knew each other
We've known each other 8 years.
7 years before that. Yeah, we were real slow to that game. Thoughts on beta Minecraft? It's pretty cool. How has your opinion of YouTube changed after making a channel? Honestly, not very, because I kind of knew how the nuts and bolts of it worked beforehand. The one thing that I did notice that kind of surprised me is that subscriber count doesn't actually matter at all. The only metric worth monitoring is viewership. So, take that for what it's worth.
And it used to be that when you subscribed to someone,
the number.
When you subscribed to someone and you went to your YouTube homepage, it was typically their videos that you saw first and were recommended to you first. And now I'm recommended two random videos from channels I've never heard of that have, millions of views. And then Tracy's 7th grade graduation that has 4 views and is 2 hours long.
Yeah, and then the videos that you actually want to watch are like 5th or 6th on the list. It's very odd what they've been doing with the recommended content.
How neurotic is Goose, and how does Ducky compare to that level of neuroticism?
So the actual medical definition of neuroticism, neither of us really qualify. It's very different than what people traditionally think of it is. I'm definitely more neurotic than you.
I'd like to think I'm pretty chill.
Yeah, Ducky's pretty... Honestly, we're both fairly chill people. Quite a lot of what I do... Externally, at least. Quite a lot of the rage that I do is largely performative because I enjoy the humor of it. Like, rarely do I ever actually get fully tilted when I'm playing a video game.
All right, you got a minute and a half to wrap things up here, bud.
I have as much time as I want.
You're going to lose your co-host.
Well, okay. Let's see if we can find one more question that we could both talk about. Oh, here you go. I'll make you answer this one. How would Goose run an army? What weaponry shall his soldiers consist? What weaponry shall I equip to my soldiers? How would they be organized, and what type of forces, training, or tactics would they utilize?
I can answer the sandwich one.
Okay, answer the sandwich. What is my favorite sandwich?
So your favorite sandwich that you regularly make is as follows. Bread. Often cheddar cheese, if not cheddar, mozzarella.
Some sort of cheese.
Mustard.
Nope. Bread, cheese, and hot sauce. Hot sauce or mustard. Yeah, something to give it a little bit of pep in its step.
Sure. Favorite drink? Water's up there.
Water.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't really drink flavored beverages or anything.
Such a Goose answer. Bread and then...
Bread and water.
Water from the pond.
Yep. Would I say I learned more engineering knowledge through real-life work or through Minecraft? Oh, Minecraft, hands down. Honestly, Minecraft probably qualifies as a full-on course in economics, computer programming, computer engineering, and material engineering, all on its own.
Oh, wait, I just want to point out this one about the autistic thing. I'm not like going insane because I feel like I've talked about autism a little bit of a disproportionate amount in this video. People mention it all the time. I read your comments. You guys are diagnosing him with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. People really ping me as being autistic.
It's
and
to the point.
Really not. But apparently I just exhibit most of the common symptoms.
The other day... We were talking with someone.
Oh, no, I remember this.
We were talking with someone, and...
To be fair, she was a little bit sozzled.
Yeah.
There was definitely some adult beveraging going on with her.
But we got 5 minutes into that conversation, and she interrupted and was like, "Oh, I get it now. You're autistic."
She was a little bit more subtle. I think she told me, like, I am so impressed with how well you're handling this right now. And I'm looking at her being very confused, but she's also, I'm making a little drinky sign. She's also a little bit intoxicated. So I'm just kind of nodding and, oh, thank you. Yeah. It must be so overwhelming to be around all these people. And I'm like, not really. I just don't care to talk to most of them. Yeah. Insert random drunken person transition of, oh, you're autistic and it's oh so wonderful that you're coming here and doing this thing for Ducky and blah, 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 blah. And like, thank you for your interest. And then I immediately went over to Ducky and I was like, so you're never going to believe what this random drunk person was thinking about me.
But, I mean, it comes up.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I feel like...
Clinical case of RBF and I talk weird, and that's apparently enough to flag most people.
Well, and so many of the people in our chosen professions are, you know?
Are neurodivergent or are autistic specifically? Because I think I'll disagree with you on both of those points.
Oh,
At
would
least
you
with
for
mine.
yours?
Yeah. We're antisocial for the most part. I would very much not flag us as being particularly neurodivergent.
For computer science?
Yeah. You forget that the median person who's interested in computer science is just a video game nerd who wants to learn how to program video games. That's how everyone gets started.
Maybe.
The
I don't
people
know.
who stick around are the ones who realize, like, oh, this is actually a terrible career. Let's do something else with this.
I don't know. Some other folks I was talking to disagreed. But it doesn't matter.
Computer science
doesn't matter.
does tend to inculcate weird thought patterns. Like, really any high-level hard science discipline will, just because reality doesn't tend to align with how the human brain thinks it should work. So we, in the act of aligning ourselves to reality, tend to disalign ourselves with what people think is normal.
We can cut this whole conversation
We can cut
out.
this whole conversation out because it's
Probably should.
2:06. I'm going to have to re-listen to this one for like 4 or 5 hours to edit it up. But anyway, is there anything you would like to close with, my dear Ducky?
This is just a cool journey, I think. I didn't think, a year and a half ago that this channel would have such a reach and influence, and I have had a really fun time looking through the comments, and I periodically do search to see what people are saying about you on the internet, on Reddit, and those kinds of things.
I pulled up the New Horizons Discord, and I just searched neurotic goose, and it is the most narcissistic little habit, but I do enjoy just seeing all the people citing the weird things I've done as if I'm the final authority on how they work. I'm like, no, I just found a bug and used it, folks. It's not that special.
Yeah, it's been fun, and I like helping how I can, which is mostly just actually actively pulling you away from what you're doing. That's how I help.
Well, something, hyper focus, something, no self-control, workaholic, yeah.
When Goose was in college, he would text me and just say things like, I haven't gone to the bathroom or had water in 10 hours. And it's like, what do you mean?
I was programming. I was focused. I was in the zone. I forgot that I had a human body that needed to do things like take a leak.
So that doesn't happen on my watch.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Coming in and punching you in the bladder, I think.
Well, that does tend to excite some things.
Do you have any closing remarks?
I believe that is it. So we will just thank you for your time. And as always, I hope you enjoyed.
Quack, quack.
Moo, moo.
What? That's not what geese say.
That's what ducks say, though.
Ducks?
It's either moo, moo, or you got any grapes? There you go. That'll be the closing line. You got any grapes?
Honk, honk. That's what geese say. What was that?
Pig snort.
Why are we bringing pigs into this? We got a full barnyard going on.
Old
This is
MacDonald had a
chaos
farm,
over
E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm, he had a goose. I'm going to take over the world and turn it into beans.
Yeah, cut that part out.